Welcome, everybody. This is your introduction to colon hydrotherapy. I'm your host, Scott Patton, and joining us is the founder of the Fort Langley Colonics, Sofia Reis. Hey, Sofia.
Hi, Scott. How are you?
Good. So I'm really excited because
having me over.
I'm really excited because this is going to be a very interesting, information-packed webinar on colonics, which I think is a really important thing for people to be doing. So why don't you start off by telling us a little bit about colonics and how you got involved in it?
Yeah. So I got involved in colonics because I've been working for several years in the health industry, and I just became more curious each time, and it was offered to me the job. Colonics, it's really important for your health, and I wish everybody just know how it's done, because almost people just don't do colonics because, as I show in this picture, they just think they're going to be there in front of me panicking. And I use these huge, horrible hoses. It's not at all like that. Your colon is very, very important. The colon is the sanitary system of your body, and it's a huge, huge organ. The colon is yes?
I was going to say, I see in the one picture it's as tall as we are.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
As tall as you. It's amazing. And actually, if you add to this image your small intestine, it will be 6 times as taller as you.
Whoa. So that's everything we eat goes through this huge, long tube.
Yeah. And this part here that is as tall as you is your sanitary system. So that's where all the leftovers, all the leftovers, all the waste is treated and then eliminated out of your body. So as you imagine, is a really, really, really important organ, and it's a very important work, because if you don't eliminate all these toxins, they just stay there. So by the size, can you imagine how many toxins can you storage in your body?
So it'd be an awful lot. And I was just thinking too of like my dishwasher got plugged up. So there's a tube going from the dishwasher to the sink, underneath the sink, and that's where all the water goes out. And of course, there's a little bit of food that gets in there and kind of gets mushed up. And unfortunately, this tube had a connection to another tube, and that connection was a little bit of a bottleneck. And it started to everything just started to collect there until it plugged up. And I thought, wow, in 6 months, my little tube there, with just a little bit, itsy bitty bit of food, that that ends up not being kind of rinsed off, it plugged up. And I thought, when I look at how much food I eat, and I'm pretty sure that the tubes we're talking about are probably no bigger than the tube that I'm talking about on my dishwasher, it would be really easy to get that thing just totally clogged up.
Yeah, it is, and I will show you later. I have actually several pictures here of colons that are quite plugged up, or even they lost, they almost shrink. They don't have the size anymore, or they lost also the muscle tone. So I will show you that. The thing that I would like to start showing you is how it's actually done, because the pictures that I have here is what people imagine, like this guy here. I have lots of my clients tell me when they phone first time is, will I sit down in the toilet in front of you? Will it stink? They ask all these questions, and these are their fears. So I would actually like to show you my machine and kind of how it's done, and then we will go to the problems. Is that okay?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to show you here my machine, and please ask any question. So this is a machine that I work with, and it's approved by FDA and Health Canada. It's a really safe machine. The machine also filtrates the water, and it also has ultraviolet light, so the water is totally saved and filtered. So we call it the three-way filtration.
So it's sterilized as well with the ultraviolet light?
The ultraviolet kills bacteria.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. So the water comes up quite pure. Also, we control the temperature and the pressure of the water.
Oh, so I don't get like ice cold water going into me.
No, I don't think he would like it, and he also would not help my job of breaking down what's around of the walls of your colon. And it's also very safe, because if there's any blockage in your colon, like a tumor or big polyp or something else, the machine will show me right away high pressure, and even if I'm not paying attention, it shuts down by itself. So it's a really safe, expensive machine. I also, if you look there in the picture in the top, I use disposable hoses and disposable speculums, and you can wear pajama pants that are open in the back, of course. So you really, really compose, and it's done in a really nice environment. So almost all colon hydrotherapies have really nice rooms. So you lie down in your back, you not lie down in your belly showing me all your behind. You comfortably lie down in your back and wearing pajama pants, and the machine does all the work for you. So that's how it's done.
Cool.
And yeah, and so the session takes around 45 minutes. And during these 45 minutes, for several times, there's a flow of water going inside of your colon, and there's a flow of water coming out. So in one hose, the water goes in the other, the water comes out. And so there's several cycles of water in, water out, and it's all through the hoses. So again, there's no smell. You're not there pushing in front of me. And almost people actually are very comfortable during the procedure.
Well, it seems to me the worst you would feel is kind of like a sensation that I really have to go.
Yeah, and that's a very good sign, because that's one of the good things about the colonics, and the difference between an enema is the colonic actually works out your muscles inside, and use the peristatals of the natural peristatals of your colon, and that means your colon contracts to push it out, and that's when you feel a little bit of cramps, almost like a diarrhea feeling. And at that time you let me know, and everything comes out. And so we have several cycles of that, but aside of that, you're really comfortable.
So, Sofia, in an average, ordinary sort of colonic session, how many times would you be putting water in and then pulling water out?
That really depends. Like, each case is a case. Like, if you come to me and you're very healthy, imagine you go in the washroom around 3 times a day, you eat very well, so your colon is quite clean. You probably can handle more water at each time, so I will not need to do several times, and I don't know, maybe around 6 times.
Okay.
That I will fill you in and then empty out. Mm-hmm. But a person that is very constipated probably only handles little bits of water. I'd say, I don't know, maybe 2 cups of water in each cycle. And then by the end of the session, that already evacuates a little bit, then he can probably handle 1 liter or more. It's very difficult to answer that question because there's so many different, every person is different.
And it, like you said, it depends on how much.
But in average, like I would say, I will put in around 120 liters in and out in 1 hour.
Wow. That's a lot of water.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's lots and lots of water. Other question that people ask me a lot is it colonics for me? And I normally say that colonics it's for almost everybody, because if you have like a problem in your colon doesn't work alone, it affects your entire body. And the reason why is if you are walking around with lots of toxins, you affect your full body. And the reason why is if you cannot eliminate totally, then the other organs of your body that are responsible for elimination, they will try to eliminate too, and that will be your kidneys, your liver, your skin, your lungs, your lymphatic system. And so they will be trying to work harder than they do normally to do the work of the colon. So it's really important to eliminate. There's also other problems that you can feel if your colon is not working properly. And so if you have any feelings of diarrhea, constipation, or if you need constantly laxatives, you have headaches, skin problems, back problems, insomnia, edema, loss of memory, depression, yeast infections, parasites, irritable bowel syndrome, bloating. There's so many. The list is huge. If you just tired every day, foggy head, for almost sure you need a colonic.
Right, because you got all those toxins that are really affecting your health.
Exactly. And it's really important to put them out. And others, like yesterday, one of my sisters that live in Portugal, and colonics is not such a common service offer there. She was asking me, she didn't really understand, so she was asking, how come I need perfectly healthy? Why would I need that? And I was telling her it's true in one sense, but in the other hand, if you, like years and years ago, people would not eat so much processed food. They will not breathe so many toxins. They will not bath in so much chemicals. Like you are outside, you breathe lots of toxins. So even if you eat really, really, really healthy, there's some toxins you cannot run away from. So it's really important to detoxify your body once in a while and do colonics at the same time.
How often would you recommend a detox?
I normally, I do it 4 times a year, like each time a season change. I think it's important to do a cleanse. If you don't like to do it that much, at least at springtime. Springtime, it's a time, you storage lots of toxins from being at home and eating a little different to warm you up during the winter. And then in the spring, it's a really important time to clean. That's when you also clean your house and you clean everything. And,
spring cleaning.
Yeah. And it's in Chinese medicine, spring, it's the liver season. So it's a really important time to give a break to your liver.
Hmm. So when you're doing a session with somebody, do you see, like, you've got parasites and yeast, and I think some of the things are things that you might, do you sort of see stuff that gives you a chance to sort of help people?
Yeah, during a session, like as you saw in my machine, there's one part that with a transparent pipe with a light behind. So I see everything that comes through, and during the session, I can notice if there's indigested food, if there is candida. Very rarely I see parasites, but normally if there's lots of yeast, the probability of having parasites there is very high. And the reason why the parasites hold for life, and I put water in, it's pretty much like being in a tsunami for them. They hold for life. But what happens is when you start having lots of colonics and also do cleanses or take some herbs to help eliminating the parasites, we are changing the environment inside of your gut and putting also healthy bacteria. And after a while, they just don't like to live there and they choose to come out. And normally they come out in the toilet.
Mm.
Because that's no longer the environment for them. And the environment for them is they love indigested food. Indigested foods stay in your colon for a long, long time, and it decomposes. And one of the ways it decomposes is by fermentation. So there's lots of yummy food for them there.
I was just thinking of the compost that I have in the back and all the food that is in there, and the worms love it. I mean, I'll move it around, and there's just tons and tons of worms, and so I
It's
can see.
paradise for them.
Yeah, yeah. So we create
Yeah.
paradise for them too.
Yeah, so that's exactly the same in your colon. Like lots of people say, how come so much decomposed, so much indigested food? Like you wouldn't believe, like sometimes I see full mushrooms, like the full mushroom. And
Wow.
and I ask the person, do you eat slowly? And they say, yeah, I really chew my food. And there's big chunks, enormous chunks of food there. And what I find special here in North America, people, unfortunately, they take very little time to eat, and they eat almost always in a run. They eat driving or they eat working, and lots of times by dinner time that they are actually in the table, special mothers, they are serving the family, and they don't sit down all at the same time and start eating in a calm, healthy environment.
Mm,
People are running all the time.
that's true.
And that's very unfortunate. So one of the first things I ask my clients is, please chew and eat slowly. And
You sound like my mom.
yeah, lots of them tell me, oh my God, today I was in a restaurant and I was just seeing you chew, chew, chew. I don't know if that's good or bad. So that's one of the ways. But once you start doing colonics, you become more conscious and aware, and you see it right there. So there's nothing to hide. And when you actually practice chewing, you start seeing a difference. Of course, you can also take some digestive enzymes to help you, but they still don't do the job of your teeth. You still need to chew.
Well, that's chewing lets out a lot of saliva, right, which has enzymes and stuff in it that helps break down the food as well.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, and it breaks it. It kind of prepares the food for digestion. It puts it in smaller pieces. If you swallow a huge piece of meat or even a vegetable, it's really hard for your body to deal with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the body just absorbs whatever is on the exterior of the chunk.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So I found also this picture. In the other day I was searching for colonics, and I found this picture fantastic because it's a huge, uh, I love it because it really shows how good you feel when you have colon hydrotherapy and you stay naturally young, and when you don't. And this picture shows like people can suffer from depression, headaches, acne, so on and on and on and on and on. And then the person that has colonics, you know, the feeling of well-being can improve 92% with colonics. The
Wow.
feeling of depression can reduce by 86%. That's huge. Your skin can improve 60%, like lots of skin problems, as I mentioned before, is just, they are just toxins try really hard to come out of your body.
Mm-hmm.
And they couldn't do it down there. They are trying through your skin. So almost acne problems are very much related with hormones or toxicity. So your skin can improve 60% just with colonics.
Well, that's an important thing for everyone to know.
Yeah, like your skin really shows the health of your colon. The indigestion can reduce for 90%. Like that's huge. Like lots of people that have really problems with bloating is just indigested food there, or it could be sometimes some food sensitivities. So that can improve immensely. Can be also candida. So there's lots of issues related that they can be solved with colonics. Constipation can have a relief by 93%.
Wow.
Yeah, joint and muscle pain also can be reduced on 83% because almost all the time is just toxins accumulated. Menstrual comfort also can be increased by 100%. So lots of people that suffer from premenstrual pain, there's no need for. Come and have colonics. Flatulence can be reduced for 50%. The quality of your sleep and headaches, like the number of benefits is endless. It can increase so much more the quality of your life.
And it just takes an hour every few months.
Yeah, it takes you 45 minutes, the treatment itself, and it's nothing. It's an amazing investment for your health. And I'm going to show you other benefits also that you can see is it exercises the colon muscles. It stimulates the colon reflex points. Along the colon, there are several points that correspond to different parts of your body, so all of them, they will be massaged. It increases also the body awareness, because once you start having colonics and you are in a good diet, your body is more aware. So anytime you eat anything that doesn't go along with your body, you will feel it. You will know right away. Because your body is clean, so you know. It also hydrates the full body, and it regenerates tissue. So it influences the full immune system. And one of the very important things also about the colonics is, for example, when you have constipation, your colon will be full of impact matter, like stools, all stool there hardened. And so when the food passed from the small intestine to your large intestine, that leftovers, normally in that part of your colon, they're still reabsorbed, like you still reabsorb back some of your food and water. But if the walls are compact with fecal matter, you cannot reabsorb some of that water and nutrients. And that's why also sometimes there's so much indigested stuff come in that place, and or even diarrhea. So it's really important because you're not absorbing all the nutrients that you should.
Yeah, because the nutrients aren't interacting with the wall of the colon. There's a barrier there of old food.
Exactly. Old food and toxins and old fecal matter. Here you can see some of the points in your colon, in our colons. So it's very interesting because when you do a colonics, all these points in some way, they are massaged and give you that sense of well-being. Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of points.
Yeah, they are. There are lots of points.
So it's like inner acupuncture.
Exactly, it is. That's exactly what it is. Yeah. And so also here, like it shows a little some problems that can happen in your colon when you not eliminate properly or when you keep toxins for so long inside of your body. And there's all kinds. There's like colonic polyps. So polyps they start a lot because of food sensitivities. And lots of people know that they are sensitive to lots of foods, but they keep eating and keep eating. So lots of polyps can start growing in the colon.
And that interferes with the movement of the food, right?
Of course, like you can have huge polyps. And the dangerous thing about polyps too is they can be turned in cancer cells, because, you know, if you have something irritating your skin every day, your skin will look very red and irritated, and some cancer cells can start growing from that. So there's several problems like diverticulosis and other kinds of problems that, of course, they can have also other sources, but the main source is really bad diet and constipation. I show you here also again the reflex points in the left, and that's what can happen to your colon when there's constipation. So when you have long-term constipation, your colon actually changes shape, and it can be like really constrict. And so lots of people that have very small, narrow stool, they probably have a really very constrict colon, or they have some problems like here. It could be a physical polyp or even a tumor that is blocking, or is just in a chronic constipation. The colon totally changed the shape, and then the stool is very small because that's the shape of the colon.
So what shape should our stool be if we had a wonderfully well-working colon?
It should be like, for example, the diameter of, it should be roughly of like a silver dollar,
Okay.
that will be a healthy stool. I can show you here. So it should be like the diameter should be of a dollar, a silver dollar coin, because smaller indicates constriction. And the constriction, as I said, it could be because of obstruction, or it could be because there's so many layers that were not eliminated. There's so many debris that your stool is very little because there's layers and layers of debris. And if it's too large, it indicates a lack of colon muscle. From lack of exercise, and so there's a low assimilation of minerals or low fiber. So your stool should be like a sausage, almost smooth and soft, but when you clean, it shouldn't be dirty. So not too dry, not too soft, and the stool is 95% to 98% of that bacteria. Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it has 2 to 5% of fiber that is not broken down. So a healthy stool should be like a light brown, and it should not have debris of food, should have a light smell, and it should like half float, half sink. So the stool tells a lot about your health. And for example, if your stool floats in the toilet, that means there's lots of indigested fat or fermented gas. If it sinks, there's lots of indigested minerals, or it's so compact from retention that it contains little moisture, so it's really hard. So this is the pictures, like the number 4 will be your perfect, clean, soft stool without little lumps.
So if it's painful to go, you need a colonic.
For sure.
Like,
It's because it's too hard.
Yeah.
It's because it's too hard. And you know, there's several reasons. We will do another webinar just about constipation, because constipation is such a large, big issue that I can be 1 hour just talking about constipation. But here again, like in these pictures, you can really see some problems that you can have in your colon. And you can see these problems in the shape also of your stool. And like you see, there's a balloon here, really big. So lots of people have a stool that is really fat and big. And that's always the shape of the colon down there too. And that's a balloon colon is really uncomfortable. And this stool will be really difficult to come out. And the colonics will help to kind of reshape. Then there's here a colitis. There's diverticulosis also. Lots of people with diverticulosis also ask me if it's okay to come for a colonic, and I say absolutely. I just cannot see them in the middle of a crisis. But once it's settled down, it's the best they can do to themselves, because the colonics really helps to clean the little bags that they have with the accumulated food inside. And the food goes to these little bags and it stays there and creates inflammation. So if you keep them clean constantly, I have one of my clients, and he's been doing colonics with me for 2 years, and for 2 years that he does not have a crisis. That's huge.
Wow.
So it's really, really good for people that suffer from diverticulosis. Yeah. And here in the third picture, there's also a prolapse colon. That's also for lots of people that use laxatives. They have a colon like that it becomes like really lazy with no muscle. I have one of my clients. She used to be a bodybuilder and a personal trainer, and she became so obsessed about having a flat stomach that she was doing enemas every day, what I totally don't recommend. And her colon became so lazy, she cannot go anymore by herself. And I tried to work, I tried to work with her for a long time, and I couldn't reach really any big results because her condition is so bad.
So she had lots of muscles on the outside and no muscles on the inside.
Yeah, not at all. She did enemas every day. So her colon was, number one, not used anymore to pay attention to the call to go, because there wasn't.
Yeah.
Everything was provocated. And that's one of the good things is the colonics doesn't do that. And anyway, I wouldn't give you every day.
Right.
Yeah.
So somebody starting off, Sofia, and they just like, what would you just do like one and then come back in 3 months, or would you do a series in the beginning, or like what would kind of be, and I know that it depends on the individual and the individual situation, but what would kind of be the conversation you would have with somebody who's just starting?
Again, each case is a case, and it depends in your condition. So I'm going to generalize a little bit what I don't love to do. In a general case, like I cannot, if you imagine your colon, and I say this over and over and over, but for me it's the best image to explain. If you imagine your colon as a pipe where stool pass over and over every day, all the time, it's dirty. You cannot at your home, when you decide to go clean like a really dirty pan from lasagna and say, okay, I'm just going to use this soft cloth and clean it out, because you cannot just wash it like that. You need to soak the pan. And once it's soaked for some minutes or even some hours sometimes, then it's easy to clean up. And that's the same with your colon. So I need at least like only sometimes after like 3 sessions, I start getting where I want, and that's to what is around your colon. So I recommend that you do at least 3 to experiment, but the ideal, I will say, at least 6 sessions. Like it takes to the average person 6 to 10 sessions for all that is around to actually start coming out.
Well, and normally we spent 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years accumulating it, right?
Exactly. So I will say around the 6, 10 sessions to just start taking that out. If you are coming here just with a purpose, like you're doing some kind of a cleanse that you regularly do every season, then I will give you 3 colonics, at least one in the beginning, one in the middle, and one in the end of the cleanse. So it depends. If you have constipation, I make several plans for people according to their needs. And the same, like we also we make a detoxification plan for each person, and sometimes they are different. I love to put people on juicing.
Why is that?
Because juicing is a really healthy way to detoxify your body, and at the same time, you are drinking lots of greens that are going to help. They're going to support your liver, and you give a break to your liver from lots of food. So you're going to give a break to, in a way, to your digestive system and the opportunity to take out toxins. So lots of the greens that I put in your cleanse, and I recommend lots of times apples too. They're going to soft also the walls of your colon and help to expel all the toxins. And so you feel much better also after. We can do like a 10-day cleanse juicing, or 5 days when you actually just 3 days in juicing. We will have also one of the sessions, one of the webinars will be all about juicing and cleansing.
I'm looking forward to that.
Me too. And then we can go more detailing.
Cool. Well, you've given us a lot to think about, Sofia. I really appreciate that. And do you have any tips before we sign off? Because we're coming to the end of our time today. For anyone that's thinking about doing some colonics who maybe hasn't and is a little maybe concerned about, even though I think you've answered pretty much all of anyone's objections.
Yeah, I'll make a little summary. So come, you will feel totally comfortable. We will make a plan that is just appropriate for you. You will be wearing pajama pants. You're very comfortable. I recommend also that some days before your colonics, you start eating lots of dark green leaves and apples. That will help my work. Don't postpone. Your health is very valuable. And lots of people say it's expensive. I don't think so. If you see as an investment, you choose the mechanic for your car, you take your car for service, you maintain your car to run perfectly. We need to do the same to our body. Our body is very valuable and is here to serve us, but we gotta collaborate with that.
Absolutely. So we're planning on having our next webinar on Wednesday, April 25th from 1:30 to 2:30 p.m. So anyone who's been registered for this live webinar is automatically registered for that, I believe. And but we'll be posting that on the website as well. And Sofia, I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy day to share this interesting information about colonics, because I know I've certainly had my eyes opened, and taking a few looks at some of those pictures of the colon and all the things that could be going on in there that really never pay that much attention to, I think is a real eye-opener. And it helps me understand a little bit of how some days I maybe not as, or some weeks not as maybe energetic as I'd like to be. It's because I'm making it hard for my body to get the nutrients that it wants.
Yeah. Yes, so thank you very much for having me over. And if you have any questions, please email me at sofia@fortlangleycolonics.com or go to my website, www.fortlangleycolonics.com. I would love to hear from you. And remember, your colon is your sanitary system, and it needs to work perfectly for you to have a perfect health. And that's why, as a joke, I used to say that colon is the boss. And it is, because if it shuts down, all your body shuts down. So I will be here on March 26th talking about Candida.
Excellent. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.